And we are live. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to finale week here at It's Bookish Time TV. We are having our very last bookish moment of the season, and my name is Sarah Burr.
And I am JC Kenney. And Sarah, I'm really excited to chat with our guest because, folks, we know this past Saturday was Flag Day, and today we are being visited by a military veteran. So First off, Sarah, before I say it's time to get bookish, I want to say to our guest, Rosalie Spielman, thank you for your service. And Sarah, now let's get bookish.
Yes, my favorite thing to do. And JC, I think that's such a poignant statement and again, Rosalie, thank you so much for your service and for shining a light on veterans in the cozy mystery community. We don't get to really see that a lot in cozy mystery. So we're excited to kind of pick your brain on everything that you talk about in your hometown mysteries. But before we get too far into things, I would like to ask you to tell our audience members a little bit about yourself, starting with maybe your career and what brought you to writing in cozy mysteries.
All right, so I started writing just a few years ago, really, because I was a military spouse for 24 years. I was in the military, but for just a few years, and then I married a military guy. And when you have a lifestyle like that, rather nomadic, it's kind of hard to have a career unless it's a portable one. And of course, writing is a portable career, but I didn't get into it until after he was about to get out. But that's whatever. I started writing because I thought it would be, fun. And I let my sister read something of mine, and she said, I love your voice. You have great voice. And I said, I don't know what that means, but thank you. And so then after that, after a while, I helped found a writing group here in my town. I live in Maryland. And we had a little writing group, and they laughed at the things that I wrote, but laughed in a good way. That was like, when they were supposed to, not when I was not wanting them to. So that did a lot for my confidence. And then I went on from there. I was writing fantasy at the time. And then, that genre is really hard to break into. And I, looked at my bookshelf, and I was like, okay, I've got a lot of mysteries, a lot of cozy mysteries. Maybe I could try that. And I didn't think that I had the brain power for that. But apparently I do, because I didn't know if I'd be able to plot a murder. And, granted, my murders don't get away with it. So I guess if I was plotting a murder that people got away with, it might be a little different. But anyway, so then I started writing cozy mysteries, and the one that I started querying with to our agent Dawn and other agents was my hometown mysteries. They were called something else at the time. They were because she's a mechanic. They were originally like mechanic themed more than hometown themed. And so like the first one was a wrench in the plan, and the second was transmission impossible, and cutesy names. And my publisher, when she offered on it, she said, the only thing is I think you should focus more on the hometown aspect of a veteran coming home. And she was absolutely right. And the place that I write about is the home of my heart, I guess you could say. It's where I was born. When I go, this plane is landing, I'm looking out the window going, yeah, this is home. And so it took me a while to decide where to set it. And then, it struck me, well, of course, I'm not a military retiree, but I am a veteran, and, going home to my hometown, it just made sense that I should make my character a veteran going home. And of course, a woman, because there's a lot of issues facing veterans, but women veterans, we've got issues.
I can't get over how much I love the title Transmission Impossible.
I know,
Number
right?
one. We also have people in the chat saying, specifically Paula, saying how much she loves the original titles, Rose. And we do have a lot of comments popping in the chat, just to let you know. We've got Mizan saying hi. We've got Sarah saying hello. We've got Christina saying hi, guys. Regina Williams saying hello, everyone. Regina, I don't know why I always say your full name. I do that with my own name, where I always say Sarah Burr. And it's like, why do I say Regina's full name? Not sure. I just love it. We have Farmhouse Reader saying good afternoon. Paula, hi friends. Good to see your lovely faces. Thank you, Paula. DHB saying happy Tuesday. Ed, hello to all. Mizan making a comment about yay Maryland. And Christina also agrees, such a great title. But I want to focus on your character Tessa. She is just like killing it in, well, pun intended, in all of these various elements of, she's retired from a traditionally male-dominated space. You had mentioned earlier that that you had originally had like you wanted it to be like focused on her being a mechanic, and it's like, being a mechanic, that is a predominantly male-dominated space. So it's like she is just breaking barriers all over the place. So tell us a little bit more about Tessa, how she came to be, or how you met her, and kind of what drives her to get involved with all of these mysteries that are popping up in New Oslo.
Well, the first one in Welcome Home to Murder is the first book. It's kind of the thing that we do with Cozy, where it's your family member, your loved one, your best friend that is accused, and you feel the need to help them. And she's also got this side thing that her best friend is the deputy in the town, and her ex-boyfriend is the county sheriff. And so it's not that they work together, but she finds herself involved, not necessarily, she's not being a Badinsky, I don't think. She's just helping her friends and family, like most cozies do. I met her, I guess, just because she's what I could have been, I guess, if I had stayed in. Hopefully not solving mysteries, but, I could have done a whole career in the military. I was during peacetime Army, and that says that's a whole different experience than what they go through now. And my sister, who is probably on there somewhere, I can't see the chat, so I don't know who's there. But she did a whole career in the Air Force. And so I saw her doing the entire time. I saw my husband doing the entire time. And so I kind of melded, neither one of them are Tessa, obviously, but, she's a little bit of everybody.
I love that.
And with that ex-boyfriend in the new book, he's getting married to the town. They used to call her Jailbait Jessie when they were in school. So that tells you a little bit about her. She's got Joe, the sheriff, is going to be her fourth husband. And so Tessa is incredibly surprised when Jessie asks her to be her maid of honor. She thinks maybe it's one final dig at I got the guy that you couldn't keep sort of thing. Or maybe that she wanted her Army skills at organization. Or, as it turns out, she wanted her investigative skills, because they literally, ex-husbands start falling out of the sky and not surviving when they land. So she, Tessa gets involved to try to help her friends, and Jessie is her friend by this point, but still a kind of a nemesis thing going on too. But
frenemies,
yes.
No, so that kind of brings up a question that I'm always curious about, and Sarah, you've often asked this to our guests. Tessa, she's not a she's not an investigator by trade or anything like that. She's a mechanic. She's a veteran, and she finds herself conducting these investigations. What is it about her that kind of makes it work? That she, what skill does she have that makes her so uniquely capable when it comes to doing something that most of us in the real world would just utterly flail about and totally not get anywhere with?
Well, I think she's probably a little she's ballsy to say, if I can say that, you're gonna beat me.
Sure can.
She's got she's not as worried about her physical being injured as she is about taking care of her friends and family. In this next one, it's her Aunt Edna is who she lives with, and she becomes a part of the killer's focus, and she wants to protect them. I had a review recently that said that it was more exciting than the normal cozy, because it was, if you've read the first book, you know what she's talking about, that she uses her army skills, her hand-to-hand combatives at the end of the book to, wouldn't want to say win over the killer. So she has those kind of skills, but then she's also, stubborn and obviously can think on her own. She's probably bullheaded is a good way to put it, but she wants to help, and she's not afraid to. I'm not sure if that answered your question or not.
Yeah, no, it does, because I think that's one of the things that makes our amateur sleuths unique, is because they all have these interesting little abilities, like with Sarah, with Coco Klein being a social media expert, and so with Tessa having this background, not only the military organizational aspect, but that's I find that really interesting, that you bring out the fact that for Tessa, she's got her military background, so she's not as worried as most folks would be about getting hurt. She can protect herself, and I think that's really interesting, and that hadn't come up before in conversation. So I'm glad I'm glad we had a chance to have you mention that.
And I think it also speaks to just her sense of, I think, right and wrong, especially like when I think of folks in the military, like they are people that are upholding justice. They're fighting for what's right. They're fighting for their country. They're fighting to protect their friends and family. So I think it almost doesn't even, I will freely admit that a social media influencer getting involved in a crime at any point is maybe less believable than someone with a military background and someone who has served. And so I definitely find that, Tessa's reasoning for being included in these investigations, for leading these investigations, I'm totally there with her in that, like, it makes sense for her to be lending this expertise. And also, speaking of veterans, we do have DHB saying, salute to veterans. Thank you for your service. The VA is a great resource and there to help.
Yes.
So that, yes, that's always.
Thank you for putting that in there. The first book, so in the back of my books, I have a veterans resources. And for Welcome Home, when my publisher read that part, she said, this is really cool. Would you like me to do a donation with your pre-orders? And I literally cried when she said that. And so the first one, I picked the DAV because they're very helpful to veterans. And she did a donation of pre-order, a percentage of her pre-orders. And that was pretty awesome. We did it for one of the other books too, but we didn't put it out quite as much. I don't even know how much, she sent with that one, but the first one was about $300. So
that's awesome.
That's nice.
Pretty decent.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I like including that because, it is, I think almost everyone knows a veteran or knows someone who knows a veteran, so it's important that we know those resources in case we come across someone who needs them.
That's awesome. And we have Muzan
Absolutely.
saying that's great. And yeah, that is, I think anytime that we as authors can use our voice to help, shine a light where, there's maybe not as much brightness, especially on these, like, not to be political or anything. I don't think this should be a political thing, but like, if you serve your country, you should be taken care of.
Yes.
And so it's like, I just think that, that is just a wonderful way to honor, not only through your writing, but through the advocacy work. So thank you. And I know, your books have won like, recognition for like their work in the like military.
It's the Military Writers Society of America, and that's what the gold thing is. It won a gold medal.
Beautiful.
The nice thing about the Military Writers Society is they look at the book kind of in a military way, that the standards, and does it match this? Does it hit these goals?
Mm-hmm.
And it's very much not, it's not it wasn't a popularity contest because nobody knew who I was anyway. But so it was, for me, it says the book is quality, and that, means a lot.
Well, it is quality. I don't know if our word means anything, Rosalie,
Yes.
but
It does
are
on this
wonderful books.
show.
Yes, these are wonderful books. They're so full of heart. They're so full of humor. I loved your comment about your friends read them, or your writing group read them and laughed at you, but like laughed with you
in a good way.
In a good way. We have a couple comments from Regina Williams saying, Rosalie, I realize that no matter how hard I try, I will never get caught up. It seems a new book comes out every month. What is your writing process?
It's not quite a month, but it sure feels like it sometimes. So my writing process, I actually write for 2 series, which she might realize is why she said that. And so I've got my most recent of the Aloha is Coral Conspiracy that came out in March. And so I've got 5. My brother asked me the other day, and I was like, hold on, I got to look at the bookshelf. 5 Aloha Lagoons and
Wow.
4 hometowns, and I have to then the next one's coming in August, but I write one and then I write the other, and then I write the one and then I write the other. So I'm going back and forth, and keeping them separated in my mind is not difficult. The characters are very different, and the settings are very different. The thing that is difficult is the same thing that's difficult for all of us, is the promo. And part of that is because like I'm doing editing for one, writing another, promoting another, and then a book comes out, and then, so it's crazy. And then this came out in mass market. It's just and then I have an audiobook on sale right now. It's like everything goes on at once. So my writing process is insane, I guess is a good way to put it. I write one, I send my betas, and then I start thinking about the next one. And I have my 6th Aloha due at the end of the month. And this time, because I'm short on time, I had to go back and forth with my betas, send them a chunk, and they sent it back. And then as soon as that's done, then I need to start plotting the next hometown. And usually I have some sort of clue what I'm doing for that book, and I don't have anything. There's nothing yet. So I gotta start working on that. And then I also write short stories.
Yes.
I've got a couple in the Chesapeake Crimes. I don't have the cover for the new one, but Murder in the Air is a bunch of different writers that you might recognize some of their names. Are these?
Yeah.
We
had Sean Riley Simmons and Tina Cashin, among others.
In August is Murder in the Graveyard, and they didn't tell me when I put one for this that it was supposed to be about our characters and drive them to our books. They kind of forgot to tell me that, so I wrote a sci-fi cozy called Airless, or Hairless actually. That's in this one, so it's very high in the air. They had meant like, oh yes, they throw a guy out of the balloon, there's your murder. I made it really far up where there actually is no air, kind of thing. And then just a couple days ago, I got this in the mail, and I wrote a short, a flash fiction, and I actually wrote it back in 2017, and this is the first time I've submitted it anywhere, and they picked it and put it in. So this is the military writers again.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Lovely.
The money for this one goes back to them.
Oh, excellent.
So that's
Wow.
nice.
Yeah, that is so cool. And folks, as if that wasn't enough, you're also a contributor to the fabulous blog, Murder They Write.
Oh,
You want to dish about that a little bit?
yes, thank you for the prompts. So I had Jackie Layton send an email to a bunch of people and say, has anybody ever done a group blog? And I think I was the only one who had at the time. And I said, yeah, I did. I used to be on
Writers Who Kill.
Writers Who Kill. Writers Who Kill. Yeah, and I left Writers Who Kill. I write a lot. So after I told Jackie, yeah, she's like, okay, will you do it? And so then she and I invited 10 people, all from our old agency. So it's Paula Charles, Ruth Hartman, Kate Jackson, Rose Kerr, Kara Lacey, Jackie Layton, Sydney Lee, Annie McEwen, Christina Romarell, and myself. And so there's 10 of us. We take turns. It's at Murder They Write. It's a Facebook private group. Answer the questions. So we'll let you in. Otherwise, because we're trying to keep the spam bots out. We've been fairly successful at that so far. I also have a readers group called the Spiel, and that's on Facebook as well.
So clever. When I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, that is perfection. I'm a pun person, so I was like, she knocked it out of the park with that one.
It was my Twitter handle back ages ago. It was my Twitter handle. And I did one of those Twitter contests, and they said, notwithstanding everything else, this person has a great handle. So I'm like, oh, I hope that's me. I think it might have been. So it's also my newsletter. There was my dog. It's also my newsletter, and the newsletter. Oh, and my bookshop store on bookshop.org. I have a shop, and it's called
very cool
as well.
It's everywhere.
Nice.
So in August, I'm going to start
branding.
giving away book plates to people when they order through Bookshop, because it's a great way to support indie bookstores.
Nice. And we have, speaking of Murder They Write, we have a special giveaway today, which, guys, for those of you that are watching with us live, we're doing it a little bit differently because we wanted to include more people in the giveaway opportunity. So listen carefully to our instructions, if you would. Following the conclusion of our stream, when the chat shuts off and this becomes just a regular video on YouTube, if you would like to enter to win a copy, an ebook copy of Rosalie's newest book, which is out August 5th, so you're going to get early access to her next hometown mystery, you'll want to leave a comment on our video here on YouTube. It can be a comment of anything. It could be because it is a wedding-themed mystery. Feel free to tell us what your favorite kind of wedding cake is. Leave it a wedding emoji, leave a party popping emoji, whatever. Any kind of comment will get scooped up, and then Rosalie will have her winner selected tomorrow at 5 p.m. So this is an extended period of time giveaway, so we can get as many entries as we can. She will pick her winner. We will comment on your post on our channel to let you know that you've won. We'll give you the information then of how to reach out to us to get everything delivered. I know it's a little bit different than what we're used to, but we're trying something new to expand reach so that more people can be involved in the giveaway. And real quickly, Rosalie, I want to make sure, because Regina also had another comment, which is a very important comment, because she is saying her grandfather was a World War II veteran and she can't begin to tell all the great services that the VA offered and how they were such a help to us during his final days. I will never forget the time I was in New Orleans probably like at least 8 years ago now, at the World War II museum that they had there. And on the day that we went, they had a bunch of World War II veterans sitting in the lobby just talking. And just being able to chat with them was astounding, and just like such national treasures, such wonderful human beings. And oh my gosh, it was such a moving experience.
When I go to the MWSA conference, it's like that, a bunch of old retirees. So
they're so wonderful. They're so kind, and all they want to do is just like make the world a better place still. And it's just wonderful. And also, speaking of wonderful, we have Mizan with a comment saying that she saw your post in Murder They Write yesterday, and that it's a great group. I will second that, because I am a member of the group, and it's fun and fabulous. We have a great time. And when we come back in the fall for our new season, I believe Murder They Write is going to be our first bookish hour that we have, because we're doing bookish hours a little bit differently this year, where we're opening them up to groups, whether it be a Facebook group, whether it's just a group of authors who like to get together and talk, doing author panels, all of that good stuff. So we can't wait to kick off our season with your crew, Rosalie, and get to chat with everybody. And in our final moments that we have together, I can't believe these episodes just always go by so quickly.
They do.
Tell us really quick. So going back to Home Sweet Homicide, we've talked about Tessa. We've talked about Jesse and Joe. Fill us in a little bit about what Aunt Edna. You talked a little bit about, like, she is kind of in the sights of the killer. What else is she up to? Because she is somebody that your readers really, really adore.
yeah, she is actually where Tessa learned most of her mechanic skills, and Edna learned it from her father. And so she's the town mechanic until she lost her garage. So she does a lot of, I think I have her being 79. I'm not completely sure. My sister will have to remind me. She always does all the numbers for me. But yeah, she is a pretty cool chick herself. She was also in the military. She was a WAC in Vietnam. And so she's Vietnam era, fixes cars. She's a tough bird, and she's a lot of fun. I might mention the moose.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can see that back.
Yeah.
Magnus the moose is a fan favorite in the books. He always makes an appearance, sometimes more helpful appearances than not. But I always have to have him walking through somewhere. I have yet to see one in real life when I go to Idaho, which I will be there next month. But hopefully this is the year that I will get to see a moose.
Well, I didn't even know that you had, because I grew up in Maine, and like we're pretty well known for our moose. So I was like, I didn't realize that Idaho had them.
Yeah.
They are the strangest looking creatures.
They are. They don't look like they should be able to
move. Yeah. They're very like cute and quirky, but at the same time, it's just like, how do you, like, your head is so massive. They're pretty majestic in their own way. So let's hope you'll have to keep us posted whether or not you see a Magnus out in the wild.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So Rosalie, just real quick, it's been great hanging out with you. Any final thoughts you want to share about the books? Where you're gonna be around August 5th when the new one comes out? What you got going on that we can look forward to?
So August 5th, I'll be home, but this in July, I'm actually flying on the 4th of July to Idaho. I've got a couple of events there. If any of my Idaho people are watching, I got one of the numbers wrong, one of the dates wrong. So I will be sending out a change for that. But the Troy Library will be the 14th instead of the 7th. And then I'm going to be at the Pacific Northwest Book Festival in Vancouver, Washington, the 19th of July. So if you're anywhere in Washington, come on down. And I'm sharing a table with Paula Charles. So it will be a lot of fun.
That's going to be trouble.
Yeah,
it's going to be great.
What a dynamic duo.
I saw her post about it, and I'm like, okay, wait, I want to come, but it's like way over there. So I fit it into my trip that I usually do. I usually go home at least once during the summer.
Nice.
So it's
Oh, cool.
That's wonderful. It's always good. It's always good to go home again. And we really thank you, Rosalie, for sharing your time with us this afternoon, telling us what Tessa is up to in her latest hometown mystery. Again, the new book, Home Sweet Homicide. I get so like into that cadence. Home Sweet Homicide. You'd think that I would know how to say homicide. I listen to enough true crime. It comes out August 5th. It's available right now for pre-order on ebook, and then paperbacks will be available upon release. So folks, make sure that you get your pre-orders in so you can continue your journey in New Oslo, Idaho. And for our wonderful viewers that have been with us all season long, we can't wait to come back. We're going to take the summer to rest, recharge, get our, to be read piles diminished so that we can chat with all the amazing authors that we have lined up for our next season. And for those of you who are just joining us here at It's Bookish Time TV, we hope you enjoyed our conversation today. We've got a lot of them for you if you'd like to go back on our channel and watch some of the fabulous authors that we've had on the show. We really appreciate this wonderful community. We thank you for your support, and we can't wait to come back with you in September. So until then,
Thank you.
Sure. Yes, Rosalie, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome anytime. We look forward to being able to chat with you guys in Murder They Write when we also come back with our Bookish Hour. We have one more Bookish Hour this week, you guys. It's with the legendary Lynn Cahoon. We're going to be talking about her brand new series that she has coming out. I don't know how many series this is at this point, but we're talking about her brand new release that's coming. So join us at 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, June 19th. And until then, everybody, stay bookish, be safe, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody. Bye.